We got the coffee. Let's go hiking.
We are Crystal and Terry, and we've always loved to travel. However, the high demands of our full-time jobs make it increasingly difficult to take any time off. So, we're giving it all up. For the next year of our life, we'll be dedicating ourselves to full-time travel. We're so excited about this next chapter, and we really hope you'll join us in this amazing adventure as we leave the life we've always known to live the life of our dreams.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, guys.
If you're going to be in the southwest part of the United States, you have got to get out and enjoy the beautiful land that makes up this area. That's what we're doing this morning from southern New Mexico area. Stopped off at a local coffee shop, got us a couple of quick shots of caffeine to start the day, and now we're hiking up in this area of rocks, which is
Rocks.
What?
We're in the Oregon mountains, which is the backdrop to the city of Las Cruces, where we live. And we'll be hiking today on Dripping Springs Trail, which will take us up to some old historical ruins. And maybe we'll even get to see some wildlife. I don't know. You ready?
I guess so.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have not been on the trail more than, 2 minutes, and we already saw a huge herd of deer. How cool. They're just grazing. They're just having their morning breakfast, just like we got our coffee. Deer just eating grass, I guess. It's so cool. Things you may find on the trail. Normally I'd say bobcat scat because it's full of all the little berries, but this looks like bobcat had a real bad day. So this is a healthier bobcat scat, and you can tell it's probably bobcat because it's bigger than, like, obviously a little rabbit pellet, but not as big as a bear, although I don't think there's bears up here. But you can see that they eat all the little berries and stuff because all the little seeds stay in their poo, in their scat, and so you can kind of see what they've eaten. It's weird, and I shouldn't be poking at poop in the morning, but that's what you do when you're on a hiking trail.
What we're coming up on now, what's been restored and, well, not restored, just sort of maintained, is the base camp area for what was Van Patten's Mountain Camp. What we're seeing here are like a pantry area, a holding area, the chicken coops, the livery. As you would drive your stagecoach all the way up this area, finally they'd get to this area where they could hook up their stagecoach and they could let their horses get some water. Another quarter mile up the trail where we'll get to was actually the place where you could stop and you could get a meal. You could have probably an overnight stay. Obviously they had chickens here. You could get milk. Who knows what all that they had available. But it's just amazing to me, again, to come up on this stuff and see it preserved, not restored. That's what I was looking for, preserved. These little areas here. Of course, again, these were just like the chicken coops and stuff. I don't think anyone actually lived here. It is a beautiful thing to come and see what it must have been like, I don't know, probably 150 years ago. But we'll continue on up the trail and get a good look at the actual base camp where people would have stopped and refreshed themselves after what could have been just 2 or 3 days from Mesilla. Let's go.
kind of the lowlands or base of the mountains up into this gorgeous canyon. And the canyon is actually where Van Patten's Mountain Camp is, and it's up here because it's protected from everything. So it's cool in the heat of the summer, and then New Mexico has relentless winds. And so up here it's got this gorgeous wall of mountain to just like protect it. And actually, as we were walking up here, I thought, man, this looks like part of Jurassic Park. It was super cool. Anyway, let's go see it.
So we finally made it to Van Patten's Mountain Camp, which in the late 1800s, early 1900s, in its heyday, had up to 32 guest rooms. And then this was a dining hall that was lavishly done for whatever that would have been in that time. Did have a piano player, they said, because you got to have a piano player. It's the Old West. But people would come up here. They could have meals. They could stay in the hotels. And of course, Van Patten was very big to this area. At one point, he owned most of what we now call Las Cruces. It's amazing to me that people would have come this far into the mountain. But it probably would have taken several days, so I'm sure they would have enjoyed hanging out, getting freshened up, having a meal, hearing some entertainment. Can't even imagine what it must have been like here at this point in time. Can only imagine. But here it is.
Guys, check out how close to the cliff they built this building. It must have been for protection, because look at this. Like, building, cliff. And I'm trying not to trip on rocks too.
We're coming up on the Boyd Sanitarium now. This is off from the Van Patten Mountain Camp, which is over there. Sanitarium, where people would come usually with breathing problems, health problems, typically tuberculosis was the big thing of the 1800s. And because of the lower pollen count and the lower humidities of the Southwest, people could come out here and tend to breathe a bit easier, be cared for. I think Doc Holliday was in this place, wasn't he? No, I'm just making that up. He was not. He was in a place similar, but way up in Colorado. Arizona. But this is a similar place where people would be able to improve on their health, especially breathing problems, in a sanitarium. So let's go check it out. But for anyone that doesn't think history is exciting enough or dramatic enough, this place that we've just come up on, the Boyd Sanitarium, Dr. Nathan Boyd comes to this area. Van Patten, who we mentioned, he owns the area. So he agrees to pay Van Patten $25 a year for rent to be able to build this sanitarium for health seekers who want to come up and improve their life. Well, after a period of time, Boyd stops paying Van Patten, and Van Patten sues him. So it goes into court, and they battle back and forth. This goes on for 13 years. Eventually, Van Patten wins all the court cases. So Boyd has to pay him, right? Boyd never pays him. So what happens is he waits out Van Patten. Van Patten, after all the expense of court, has to go bankrupt. He ends up selling this property to Dr. Boyd for $1. $1. So if you think that all the drama is in this generation, it isn't. He got this whole property for $1 after a 13-year court battle. So not really sure if it was worth it, but that's the true story of this property right here, the Boyd Sanitarium.
So this is the legendary Dripping Springs, and it's called Dripping Springs for a reason, because it's basically just a little trickle until it rains, but we're kind of out of the monsoon season right now, so it's basically just a trickle that comes down. But they built this reservoir like back I don't know, 1892, I think that sign said back there, for the camp and for the sanitarium. So they were harvesting the water here, and that's what they used to drink.
We've made it all the way to our final destination point to show you some history, not to mention the beautiful nature of this mountain range. Another thing that we discovered, though, and you might not have seen it on camera, but we can share it with you. We are ridiculously out of shape. We thought we were doing good on the East Coast. Our little phone said you're walking 10 to 20,000 steps a day. It's a lot different here on these little uneven hiking trails. But we've made it to the sanitarium and to the base camp or the mountain camp of Van Patten. And now the great part is going back downhill and thinking about what we're going to have for lunch today. Let's go.
So I know kind of the point of today's hike, well, not only to just enjoy nature, but was to go see the Van Patten Camp. But what they don't tell you is that the way back down, you have these amazing views and vistas of the city below. I mean, it's pretty much worth it to just come up here and turn around. Always make sure you turn around to see what's behind you because it is stunning.
Well, we made it, guys.
Yep, that was a great hike and we got some nice views and saw some cool critters, and
Yeah,
now we're gonna go relax because our legs are gonna be sore tomorrow.
probably.
We'll see you on the next one. Guys, check out how close to the cliff they built this building. I mean, it must have been for protection. It must have been for protection.
Let's go.
Go on.